KENS TV5 San Antonio. Eyewitness News. San Antonio's #1 newscast with Michael Marsh. Weather with Ron Taylor. And sports with Gary DeLong.
Good afternoon. The worst is apparently over for the area around Brownsville as Hurricane Allen makes its way farther inland from where it reached landfall along the Texas coast. But as far as the National Weather Service is concerned, for the San Antonio area, the worst is yet to come as far as rain goes. To update that situation, here's Ron Taylor. He has the latest on what we can expect here in the San Antonio area and up in the hill country.
Thank you, Mike. The only good thing to say about Allen is that it's weakening very quickly, very rapidly. In fact, hurricane warnings are now off for the Texas coast. Here's a look at what may be the last look today of that very, very dangerous storm, a storm that carried us into a great deal of activity through the last few days. Allen now lies well off the inland from the Texas coast, sitting, unbelievably, the eye right over Laredo, Texas. If you've been plotting, it's at 27.4, 99.5, moving very slowly west-northwest, about 10 miles per hour. This is going to put it into northern Mexico. There's been an extremely heavy amount of rain, especially in the coastal counties, moving straight through this line below San Antonio. Some of the rain's already up to 7 inches, and they've really just begun. We could expect through the eye, that is the area below San Antonio to northern Mexico, to go somewhere 15 to 20 inches. So the worst is over for the coastal regions. However, we want to admonish and warn evacuees not to try to return tonight. Tomorrow morning would be much better. Very rough seas, some of the roads still underwater in the coastal areas. San Antonio remains under tornado and flash flood watches. We'll be back and tell you about that a little later. Michael?
Okay, thank you, Ron. I understand also that they have somewhat higher than normal tides along the coast.
Tides, some of the tides are up to 12 feet above normal. Right now, they'll be receding, but it's definitely too dangerous to go down there now.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Of course, Brownsville took the brunt of Hurricane Allen. Its impact began yesterday. Carlos Aguilar was there and has this report.
At daybreak this morning, the eye of Hurricane Allen was a little more than 100 miles from Brownsville, but its effects were already being felt. At this point on the Texas coast is where Hurricane Allen left its first damage.
Part of the destruction associated with the hurricane is caused by the severe weather it brings along with it. The damage you see behind me is an example of that.
A tornado spawned by Hurricane Allen demolished these houses. Luckily, no one was in them at the time the twister hit. It cut a path along an open wooded area and ripped apart a bakery warehouse before lifting back up into the storm. At the point where the twister first touched down, the Chambers family was able to describe what it was like when the tornado roared past.
And we were expecting a hurricane. We heard this tremendous noise, and we realized that it wasn't a hurricane, and we figured out right quick it was a tornado. And so we went out, everybody woke up, went all directions, went outside, and things were blowing around still, our fence in the back, and we see the houses across it, see the roofs were silhouetted against the sky there. They were torn up pretty bad, so that scared us.
As the morning progressed, the intensity of the hurricane was becoming more evident, and as the raging storm got closer, relief centers like this college gymnasium began to overflow. Thousands were taken in at the different emergency shelters. The people who came brought with them only what they could carry and tried to make the best of the situation. The Juan Bentillo family typified the refugee.
My home, well, it's not old, but I didn't think it was safe enough to stay there, so we came over here. We went to my mother-in-law's home, but she didn't like it over there either, so we came here.
By the time Hurricane Allen made landfall, several communities around the Texas southern tip were starting to succumb to the severe weather as the storm left behind more damage. But luckily, as of mid-afternoon, there were still no reports of any serious injuries or loss of life. Carlos Aguilar, Channel 5, Eyewitness News in Brownsville.
And as Hurricane Allen made its way onshore early this morning, Corpus Christi began feeling hurricane-force winds and heavy rains. Fred Lozano was in Corpus, and he has this report.
Hurricane Allen, which appeared to be taking dead aim at Brownsville last night, was expected to have minimal impact on Corpus Christi, 150 miles to the north. But Allen changed course overnight, making landfall farther up the coast. The northeasterly side of the storm struck Corpus Christi harder than expected. By early morning, winds had intensified to near hurricane force, with gusts upwards of 90 miles an hour. The storm produced the highest tides in Corpus Christi since the hurricane of 1919. Much of the city lost electrical power and water. Radio transmitters were knocked out, and by daylight, all of the local television stations had been knocked off the air. Thousands of people who could not or would not evacuate the city sought refuge overnight in public shelters, many bringing with them portable radios to monitor local news broadcasts as they rode out the storm.
Periods of heavy rain and winds causing flooding in the low-lying areas.
Pushed by the stiff winds, ocean water soon began contaminating the city's fresh water storage, and officials warned residents not to drink water if it was not bottled. There was widespread wind damage in the city, but not as extensive as officials had feared it would be. Hundreds of trees were uprooted. Many beachfront hotels sustained broken windows. One brick wall was blown down by a strong gust. In downtown Corpus Christi, the damage was more severe. Scores of windows were blown out of tall office buildings and fell like rain to the streets below. As Allen moved further inland, the rains grew more intense. Corpus Christi was expecting widespread flooding, and city officials urged people not to venture outdoors. They also asked that those who evacuated the city not return now. Although Corpus Christi was spared the brunt of the storm, it will be days, they say, before things begin to return to normal. In Corpus Christi, Fred Lozano, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Back here, a Bexar County family is without a home this evening after a twister dipped down and exploded their mobile home east of San Antonio. The twister skirted the east side of Bexar County about 10:30 this morning, clipping trees, removing the roofs from outbuildings, and downing power lines. The whirling wind hit the Parker home atop a hill off Beck Road. The home literally exploded, injuring the couple who lived there, 22-year-old Kathy Parker and her husband, 24-year-old Jack Parker. A relative explained what he saw.
Back to the kitchen, about then all the snakes started flying around inside. I grabbed my wife. We ran into the bathroom, and then it was over just like that. There's no roar, no heavy wind, nothing ahead of it.
The Parkers are still under treatment at Southeast Baptist Hospital. Jack Parker underwent surgery for lacerations. Kathy Parker is still under observation. The same twister also caused extensive damage east of this location in Lone Oak, where twisting winds damaged garages, uprooted trees, and ripped off patio covers. No injuries reported in the Lone Oak incident. Eyewitness news crews went to several parts of the city today, and damage was reported from high winds and flooding. On the northwest side of San Antonio, there were downed trees and TV antennas on several streets. Many residents say tree limbs were ripped from their trunks and carried several feet by the high winds. Most of the torn branches managed to narrowly miss cars and houses. So far, the damage in this part of town has been light. Along with high winds, San Antonians experienced heavy rains. Many low water crossings quickly became flooded and impassable on the northwest part of town, with the rains expected to continue later on tonight. A series of tornadoes spawned by Hurricane Allen touched down in Austin this afternoon. No one's reported injured, but one tornado is reported to have hit the Austin airport, where a hangar was destroyed and several small planes were flipped over, and went on to damage a couple of houses and a service station up there in Austin. Coming up next, coastal refugees are biding their time here in San Antonio. The cleanup effort is beginning already, and South Texas ranchers react to the rain.